record on this computer. And Victoria, it's over to you to talk to us about MediatR and CQRS. So thank you.
No, it's hello. Hello, everyone. I think it's more about architecture, more about CQRS, and less about MediatR, I think, because I don't know why, but a lot of articles which I saw, it's always MediatR and CQRS put it together. I don't know why. It's not necessary, yes? Okay, let's start it. What my plans to this discussion? Yes, I want to talk about architecture, how it's evaluated, and then I wrote a mini program, and we will see it, and we will talk about it, how it's right, and how it's evaluation. Okay. Of course, all of started from spaghetti code, and I like it. I love it. I use it every day, but I use it and then I just put it out, but use it. I think we all of us write spaghetti code now too. Okay. Then we, like developers, understand that it's not so good because it's a lot of double coding. It's not doesn't understanding all of the stuff. So we created 3 layers. Yes, typical 3 layers. It's UI, business logic layer, and data access layer. Yeah, I think all of us understand what is it. UI, it's not, can be UI like front end, it can be API or ABI or something like that. It doesn't matter what. Okay, but it's not so good when business logic depends on implemented of data access layer. So this scheme Y was changed. Yes, and it just changed only this, only this. So, and squares started to be circles because it should changes something, yes, in diagram. So, and it started to be like this, but only this was changed. So, okay, it's not layer architecture, and started to call clean architecture, maybe onion architecture, maybe hexagrams architecture. It doesn't matter how you will call it. It's matter that domain level in the center of it, service layer it's around it, and UI test infrastructure it's in other layer. It's, yeah, so it's okay. Yeah. About CQRS. CQRS, it's not, it's architecture, of course, but it's only architecture pattern. It doesn't mean that you should build your application and use MediatR. It doesn't, of course, it's not necessary. You can create microservice from for write your entities, but in layer architecture. Read, you can use, I don't know, spaghetti code. Why not? Because it should be very light, very fast, yes, without MediatR, because it's not necessary again. So what is CQRS? CQRS, it's architecture when you separated create, write path and read path. Yeah. It's not necessary that it should be 2 databases. It's not necessary that it should be databases. It can be Redis, it can be Kafka, it can be material view, it's anywhere. Yeah. So typically, we, yes, in our company and companies that I saw, we use write entity framework because it's useful, it's more understandable, yes, and Dapper for React path because it's faster. Yeah, for React because it's a little bit stupid, yeah, and without any layers before your database and your code. Yeah, so typically write path is special microservices, and React path is other microservices because you can create more pods for your React path when a lot of users go to your application. Yeah, started to use it. Okay, I think, yeah, we can go to code. I created a mini application with two controllers. Okay, idea this application, it's I have users in my system. These users can register in system, they can log in and confirm code. Yes, when they register, they get some code to email. Yeah, I sent some code to email. When user confirm this code, I should send token back, but not here. Because it's just like application. I don't want talk here about authorization and how it's work, GBT tokens, all of the stuff. So it's light version, yeah. Okay, and when user login, he get confirm code again, and when he confirm code, he get token back. Okay, and book controller, it's just about book, but here I want to show you how and why I want to separate it logic, write logic and read logic. Okay, book. I can post book, so create, insert, whatever, how you call it. Get book, but by ID because I want change, yeah, something. Post review. Review, it's when some people want to say, oh, it's very good book, I want to put 5 stars for it. Yeah, and a list of books. This method I want to put to React path of my application because it's should return structure like, where is it? Book list item. And here I have ID of my book, title, after full name. Of course, in database, I put ID of my after, yeah? And AVG of review estimate, yes? So it's some middle estimate of all. Okay, and of course, all of these methods, not least, of course, it's used, I don't know, around 5%, and 95% of my application, they get list of book. Yeah, it's typically for, I think, any application. Okay, let's go. And I create 3 types of tree implementation of this application. It's with spaghetti code. It's my favorite here because it's very small application. Okay, onion, architecture, and comment. It's not so good name, I think, for onion. I think it's better service layer architecture and MediatR architecture. It's 2 of these application use CQRS pattern, but here I used MediatR. Here I doesn't doing it. It's all different between it. But all of these application, they use CQRS. Okay, let's start from spaghetti code and okay, register. here, email, full name, what we should do. We should do actually nothing. Okay. We should just create new user, yeah, in our database. Then we should create our code, put it to Redis or maybe in memory. In memory, it's bad idea, yeah, because a lot of pods, microservices, Kubernetes, all of this stuff. I put this code to Redis. Around 10 minutes, yes, and then send email, just, hey, your confirmation code, it's all. Okay, what is it? It's not necessary, but we used in our system, maybe it's doesn't necessary, of course. We always get response with 200 code, yeah, status code, and error we send like this. It's not necessary. And status, it's our inside status before our microservices. And I don't use here, 200 code, because I want to that you understand that it can be other, yeah. So so it's typical spaghetti. It's validation here, yes, try catch in any our method. Here I used DB context and save changes. Oh, yeah, it's yes, it's typically spaghetti. So okay, what doing login? Login, it's just email, of course, again, validation. Then if we don't have user, yes, it's very important to send okay, because if we will send something like we don't have this user with this email, it's bad, because a lot of people who don't like your application will loop of emails and will get a list of your users. Yeah, very easy. And so, of course, when login, we should send okay, like response, and doing nothing. Okay, and then if we have user, we just send code. Again, it's all. Yeah, you see double code here and register there, but it's okay. It's just spaghetti, but it's very easy and understandable. Okay, and confirm code, we just what? Uh, Again, validation, again, get user. Here, I think it's not so good idea, okay? Okay, and get confirm code, compare it with people user sent, and very important stuff, we send 10, I don't know, $10, for example, maybe euro, to bill our new user if it has transaction. It hasn't transaction, it's new user. Okay. Books, it's the same. It's, oh my God. I really, I try doing it. I hate this. It's get list of books. Yeah, and you see my pain. It's really work. I try. Yeah, I use it. Okay, I like Dapper for it. It was terrible. It was pain to write it for me. Okay, post. I think it's very easy. It's again validation and just save new book. It's all. Of course, ID we created it's in this code, because I don't know how about all, but Postgres, it's it's free, and only one problem in this database that they ID created UID ID. It's long, it get long time, so better created it in your application. Okay, get and post review. Post review. Yeah, nothing special here. Just I think I should check that we have book with this ID, but I forgot. Okay. Uh, okay. I hope that when we will write database, we will check that it should be index for books table. Okay. I think we see problems, a lot of problems. First of all, it's try-catch. Yes, it's very double code. Then I don't like this, guys. It's terrible. Yeah, I want just exception here, and type of exception, of course, and this in service, and this in our repositories. It's typical, I think, for all of us. And 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 of course 3 controllers. Actually, it should be 3 applications. Yes, core application, read application, and write application. But I'm a little bit lazy, so I created 3 controllers here. Auth controller, it's, you see, yes, my eyes, I like it. Okay, and of course I should create here class, yes, register response with validation, and I should have validation in all service too, because I don't know, register will call in controllers on in other places. So I have register in service too, of course. Okay, book controller, it's very same, and book info controller, it's iBook queries. I created it in infrastructure. It's, you know, I don't like it and like it, because queries, it's more to domain layer maybe, but maybe it's better to infrastructure layer. And when I asked myself about it, I like MediatR better for this, for this. So in read path, yes, I prepared used MediatR, not always, but prepared, because I don't know about iBook queries, but maybe it's okay. But it's, I don't know, it's not so good that we have read model. Yes, it should be maybe in model. Why it's in read model is here. But queries, it's infrastructure. I don't know. Maybe somebody think other. I don't know. Okay. Services, no services, exceptions. Yes, .NET 8 and exception handlers. I love it. Yeah, exception handlers. Okay, I created error response. It has status, error, it's record. It can be class record, doesn't matter actually. It's not, of course, it's faster, but not so. Okay. And I created global exception handler. What happened here? Here, I put that response status always 200. Yes, it's okay. Then I catch my exception, and if it's my special status code exception, I get message and status from status code exception, and if it's something other, I just send message terminal server error and 500, but I think 500 maybe it's not so good idea. It should be something other. Yeah, because we shouldn't mix it together. Okay, and I have exceptions. For example, argument exception, it's I have the status and part bet argument. Not found. I forget why I need it. I think we will see it in services. And of course, base exception. I think it's typical for a lot of projects. Yeah. Okay, but I like it in .NET 8. Okay. Services. I have auth service. Oh, and this I think it was first reason why 5 years ago I started write all my services with MediatR. Because I hate it. I really hate it all my soul. It's 1, 2, 3. Of course, our service, I can create it more smaller, yes? But here I will see a lot of services and they will, very compared together. I don't know. But okay, I have that, I have. Okay, register. Here, very simple, true. Yeah, of course, throw exception, our exception. Of course, we will get a user in repository and unit of work. I like and hate it. Because I like it because I can create user or send him money, all of the stuff in one transaction. Yes, but you shouldn't forget about unit of work. Sometimes I did it. Thanks God, it's unit test help me. But I don't know. I prefer when user repository and save user in repository. Yes, unit of work. It's yeah, of course you can use it, but it's if you want to save two entity in one transaction, it's little bit strange. Yes, it's not microservices. It's not one unit. I don't know. I don't like it. Of course, and sometimes your entities live in two microservices, and I don't know. I don't use unit of work a lot of actually because microservices is just 1, 2 entities and 5 maybe tables in your database, and Redis. It's all okay. Unit of work. What happened here? We get user, we save user, we create code, code service. Maybe, of course, we should use maybe something like code strategy because code can be not only numbers but some string and okay. Then code repository. It's question actually code repository, it's Redis, but we know that it will Redis, not database like Postgre or something like that. Yes, but it should be repository or not, I don't know. So when I asked myself about it, I started to use MediatR because it's easier. You shouldn't think about it. You just use Redis. It's all okay. Code repository, set confirmation code. Okay, and notification service, send email async. Of course, here I should send something like ID of template because we shouldn't understand, we shouldn't know that it's a phrase like confirmation code or title of our message and all of the stuffs. It should be in this service, but it's light application, so it's okay. Okay, login. I think it's not interesting. Yeah. And confirmation code, balance service, change balance. Yeah. Okay. I think, yeah, it's all. Book, 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 book service. It's not interesting. Interesting is its queries. Yeah. Like I said, I don't know about read model, and it should be in infrastructure or not. Yeah, it's very good question, and I don't know, like you like your team like. I think it doesn't matter. Okay, let's go to comments. Of course, handlers. I don't didn't change something. And okay, let's go to controllers. What I want to say, what I forgot said, that in Onion actually it should call service layer architecture. Here it's CQRS, yeah, but without MediatR. It's very important because all people, I don't know why, all people compare, put it together and can't separate it. I don't know why. Sometimes it's confused me. Okay, let's go to comments and our controllers. Yeah, MediatR and comments. It's typical, I think, for any application which used MediatR. Okay, and commons, book, commons, and here, no, book, register user comment, yeah. What happened here? Nothing, maybe I put generate confirmation code in other command. Yes, of course, not in service but you can use services too. You can create register user command handler and command, of course, against services, but create, for example, code service. Why not? Why not? Sometimes it's useful. Why not? Okay. Generate confirmation code. Nothing, something special here. It's I like that it's very short and clear. But I don't like that 50% of my code it's not not useful code, but I can do it. Yeah, maybe here it's little bit beautiful. I don't know, but it's not typical, and maybe I'm old. I like this. Sometimes I hate this that I can't put comma here like in Node.js, but it's okay. I can live with it. Okay, a register user, then what? Login user, it's very close to our service. I don't see something interesting here. Confirm code, in book. Interesting started in book service, and yeah, at review, no, login, confirm code. Yeah, here we where is we put $10? Where is my $10? Welcome bonus. Yeah, why I like MediatR here in this application more than service layer. Yeah, but less than spaghetti code because it's very short application, and I think spaghetti code not so bad for it. Okay, because I want to, it's should be add welcome bonus. Yes, it's $10. We should put it in one place, and it should check that this user should get this welcome bonus or shouldn't. And I like that we check it in other command. And what I like here too, that actually when we create new user, we should set him status or maybe some group that it doesn't register user. And when we see here that this user started to be registered, we should send this welcome bonus. But I just check have this guy transaction or not. Yes, and what we can do here, we can create a rich model, yeah, for this very small application. I understand how it's see, but we will talk about not only this small application. Yeah, we can create rich model, and when user change his status or group, or I don't know how you will call it, we can add welcome bonus him when we use events. Yeah. Okay. Yes, I think it's all. Maybe somebody wants to talk about it because it's very interesting how you use it, if you use it, somebody CQRS, and I really interesting about queries and read path of your application. Yeah. No? I'm so boring.
And I'm sure John has got a question. John, ask one of the questions you asked earlier.
Okay.
I can't remember what the questions I had earlier. Sorry.
Okay,
No, so
I'm boring.
no, not boring. Very good talk. Yeah, so have you finished all of your content onto questions, or was there any? Because you had some slides that you also.
Okay, okay, yes. I want to. Yeah, I can talk, and I want to talk about commons. Yes, and about what is it and how is it used, because not all people understand why you need commons, because you have services. Yes. Yes, so why you need command? For example, in our application, we need command when we okay, problem in bonuses. Yes, because in service, our user service, where is our user service? Well, auth service, I'm sorry. In auth service, we can, of course, we can create, we use balance service, but you know, it's so, how would say, it's all connected together, and it's not so good that our service know about balance service. Yeah. So, and commons here, it's help us to create our code more understandable from side of user cases. Yeah. And if we will see our case about read of books, it's you see, okay, I use here iBooks queries. Why not? And it's okay, yeah, here. But it isn't okay if you use it in your, I don't know, in the main model or in other place. So again, MediatR helps you, doesn't don't think about layers and started think about your user case, about your feature, yes, but not about layers. So, and in your comments, you can put in your comment domain model, work with domain model, work with Dapper, legacy code, some API client, doesn't matter. And this is a power of your of MediatR. Yeah, and here I just show how you can change your service. Of course, it's not typical, yeah, but you can start from it. If you want to migrate from your service to MediatR, you can just get your public functions and create commands for all of your public functions. Okay, and get user, it's yellow here because it's React path, but in MediatR, unfortunately, maybe not. It has only commands and events. Another side why it should has request because it's a very close interface to iCommand. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, yes. Maybe I can talk about this too. I want to talk about send email command. I don't implemented it because I don't want to go so deep, but why not doing it now? Okay, actually it should be other microservice, yeah, to send email because microservice with actually not a lot of microservices. It can be more of one microservice, some API and microservice for any provider which you have. Yes, I don't know what else. I thought that you will have some questions. I understand this team maybe not so, I don't know, somebody use comments in applications, in your application, really use it? Or maybe somebody of you.
Yeah, so not in this context. So I'm quite so the mediator. So for me, mediator, I think the use and the purpose is relatively clear. It helps you deal with all of the dependencies and make that, you know, cleaner. I guess that the CQRS pattern, which, like you said, it splits the commands versus the queries, and I'm interested to hear like what, if you think that there are scenarios where you think that's more appropriate versus the service approach. Is that why splitting those two? Is it performance that you see the gain, or is it complexity? What are the benefits?
Yeah, it's more about performance because, okay, for example, React model, it's more often for public API. Yes, when you open website or if a person open your application in mobile phone or in any device, what happened? Yes, first of all, it's some public questions started, yeah, to work, and a lot of people can just close application after it. So it's mean that 90, I think, not often, of course, but more than 50% queries, it's public queries, and it's React queries. And of course, you can separate your application because you can horizontally create more pods for your read path of application when you get a lot of users, yes, in one moment of time. And in your read path of application, you can use other ORM, you can use other database for it, yes. Again, we use Dapper, but it's not often. Maybe ClickHouse, maybe something other. Yes, you can use. So your right application with business logic, it's not so light. Yes, it's hard, and you use entity framework often for it because it's easier to work with used entity framework. And read path, it's micro ORM, it's more light applications. So something like that.
So I think that sounds like the reason that you'd split them with commands together and queries together is that queries are like other queries and commands are like other commands, whereas when you blur things together as a service and you combine those two together, there's more differences within that than there are if you divide it the other way, if I'm making sense.
Yes. And okay, I'm working in blockchain, and we have a lot of transactions. Yes, a lot of users, a lot of transactions. So we use two databases. Okay, databases. Actually, a lot of databases, more than 30 microservices, I think. No, but okay. For transaction, we have two big databases. One database is for write our data, yes, and second database, it's special tables for read it. And Kafka sent messages between it. Yeah. Yeah, so this microservice for read our data, it's data. It's special microservice, special database just for read it. It's all. Yes, and write, it's actually not one application. It's a lot of application, actually. A lot of microservices with a lot of applications. They send messages to Kafka, and Kafka send it to databases and to read databases too. Yeah, it's our example.
Great, thank you. That makes sense.
Okay.
Thanks. Yeah, so there's a question. Is it a question or a point from Dinesh? What was that? Just vanished from my screen now. I'm not a Zoom specialist. Clive, can you?
Yeah,
can you see
I'm
it?
sure if you wanted me to read. So the question for Dinesh is, if it's not feasible to have separate DB copies for read and write operations, then should I avoid using the CQRS pattern? So does it only work if you have kind of the two databases you have in that diagram?
I don't understand clearly questions. Should you use two database or shouldn't? It's right question.
I guess the question is, on your diagram, you've got the sort of event channel between the two databases. Is that a fundamental part of this, or could that just be one database?
To have separate the I don't know how to say. Okay, you should use databases, and okay, it's not necessary use two databases. It's not necessary to use databases. You can use files if you want. Yes, but main idea to create your application, and it should work fast if you have a lot of users. Yes, typically if your application big, of course you have not one database. It's you used a lot one database for one application. It's necessary again. Okay, so I try to give a response for your question again. Okay, it's not necessary to use two databases, but better to, okay, read path of your system. It's not only one microservice. It can be 10 microservices with 10 databases. Yes, but with other side, your application, your system can be not so big. Yes, and you can create two applications, one microservice, two application, one application for write, other application for read, and one database for two of your applications. I hope that I give response clear. Okay.
Yeah, so I think someone
So
else has followed up with a thing about you might have sort of different access patterns on the two databases, basically. So it might make more sense to have the reads. You might just have different
yes.
access patterns on the databases, basically. So you just separated them in the diagram because it sort of shows that that's a possibility.
It's, I don't know, it's always when when access to your database, it's only for special applications. Yes, and other user for other application can't read something from this database. It's a bad idea, I think. Yeah, it's ruin your microservices architecture.
Okay. Yeah, so we've had there were a couple of comments, so I'm not sure if everyone can see them. So Andy's mentioned that he's used CQRS with SingleDB, and Jeff has said that it depends on your use case, but the thinking can be that you expect far more reads to writes, so you can give completely different level of performance to the read. And also, recently he's worked on one where there's separation by domain, as well as using CQRS. So yeah, take a look at the comments. Anyone, if they wanted something that makes
these
more
comments, yes.
Yeah, in the chat. So I think that's really backing up what you've said, that all of the design, the architecture implementation will depend on the scenario that you're dealing with and where you need the performance, and so many variables.
Yeah,
I'd assume.
I totally agree with Jeff. Yeah. Yeah, if you need it, just it just pattern. It doesn't mean that you use it like it's described in any internet website. Yes, you should use your experience, you should use your team. Yes, and just create application like you think it should be. Yeah, because you're programmer, you're senior who created. Like spaghetti code. No, of course not, but idea that you should separate maximum separated your system. Yeah. because access layers, performances, all of the stuffs, yeah, you should maximum separated it. Okay. Oh.
Cool. Yeah. Well, any other questions from anyone here? Oliver's posted. When you think about globally distributed systems, you might need to have an explicit automation to ensure how data consistencies are handled. I like CQRS because of what John said, avoiding bundling into things, bundling things into a fat class service.
Yeah.
I could ask a off-topic question.
How off topic is it? Go on, Oliver.
On a scale of 1 to 10, it's like one. Well, just because thank you very much for the talk. I did enjoy it. Because we're talking about architecture, have you come across vertical slice architecture? I keep hearing that on YouTube recently, and I wondered if there's any thoughts on that.
Is that to the group?
Yeah, anybody, or to anybody who wants to see. If you feel like it's too off topic, we could ignore me happily. I've always been an advocate for clean architecture, and of course, this seems like I hear a lot about it. So I thought I'll ask here. You guys might come across.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't looked into it in too much depth. From what I've seen of it, I quite like it. I'm not sure it necessarily eliminates using clean architecture. I'm not, I'm not totally. It's a while since I've looked into it, but I think it's more of it's closer to this. It's much closer to the service pattern, right? Where you've got the things that are associated by where they are within a domain or their relationship within a domain, as opposed to this. How about you, Oliver? Have you seen some things that are interesting or compelling with it?
What's his name? That Canadian guy, the Code Opinion guy. He was talking about it, and also quite recently I discovered a really nice library called Fast Endpoints for .NET, and I'm using that with my client right now. And somewhere in the documentation they said, "Hey, we're following this convention because it's about vertical slice architecture, not DDD or clean architecture." That there was like a throwaway sentence in their documentation to that sort of effect, and it got me puzzled, and then led to my asking you guys. But this was like a month ago I came across this. It was just put it in there. Haven't really seen the effects of it. So no, not too much exposure is my answer there.
Yeah, Oliver, I don't know if it's the same thing, but at least in the project that I'm part of it, on the front end part, we approach as vertical slicing solution. So we just group the related domain stuff all together. So from the front end part, like if you have products, components that interact with each other, we just group them together. So they're, from the domain perspective, it's just all related. So for example, if you have blog posts, then it's not related to the products. So whatever it does with the blogs, they just do it on their own. So if something changes, then it's isolated from the domain perspective. Like, okay, blogs are like a country on their own, but in the end, the application itself is more like United Nations or like NATO. So they are just operating, they are just sharing sometimes maybe services, I don't know. But in the end, they're just isolated ecosystems that live together. So if you break something or if you make a change, then that part can be affected, but all the other parts remain free. So you just have the peace of mind. Will I break it? Obviously, if you just have some kind of dependency, then in the foundations it can break. But moreover, it's just separating all from business perspective. So if business comes with like, hey guys, we have a nice concept that we want to implement, it's not the products, but I don't know, maybe voucher codes, then it's somehow lives on their own. So obviously they have relations with the products and whatever promotions you have. But if you somehow keep them separated, then the teams can already work on different parts of the application in parallel, and you eliminate some kind of a dependency hell. Obviously, in the end, the main purpose is just prevent that dependency problems. But once you slice it like that, then from also business perspective, from the agile perspective, you can have features, stories that are actually focusing on that part. And you also, at least in our case, we just prevent a lot of dependency, not only from the technical perspective, but from the business perspective also. It's just flows very smoothly. You can just define features as your target goals, like milestones or OKRs. And since they're all isolated, each feature can have different goals. And in the end, as a team, you can just move towards the end product. So far, it works smoothly, but of course, I don't know. It depends. Maybe it's just not on the towards the end of the project. So we're still having good time, enjoying the good times. But yeah, this is at least how we approach the vertical slicing part. But maybe from different domain or from a different perspective, it could have some different meanings.
Yeah. I mean, I like the concept. It follows this of one of the good advice from Agile, isn't it? Like do one vertical slice of the problem and distribute and ship that, end to end. Just a follow-up question on there. So in your case, whatever is in that vertical, would that constitute as like, you said you'll have a domain perhaps that is, split in that vertical and it's isolated. So practically, would that mean that's like a project of its own, or like even a separate solution, or
Well,
like a different repository altogether?
Well, it depends. For the front end part, at least our services are separated, obviously, because we can't just ask front end people to do everything.
Yeah.
It would not be fair. But on that part, actually, so it's not separate projects. They're just separated as packages. And these packages are actually obviously use some base foundations, but in the end, they're just separated entities that you don't need to have different solutions for different projects. I mean, how can I tell? It's a bit different. So in the end, it's just some NPM, not NPM package, but locally a workspace package.
Okay.
So you are just building it. They're isolated, but in the end, they just form the whole application, and they're just consumed in the main application. So yeah, I don't know how to tell actually from that perspective actually, but yeah, so they're not necessarily be separate projects. So you can just also think it like folders in our file system. So it's one of them has a bunch of images, nice beach images, and the others are highly sophisticated architectural images. And we can easily find, or you can just, whenever you need resources, you can just pick them. And whenever you put some photos to your gallery, so it's just separated all in there. And it depends on, I guess, some kind of a personal preference, if you ask me. Because if you want to separate them as separate repositories because you want totally isolation, that's fine. But in our case, we don't want those kind of things because in the end, we have limited number of people managing the project. So we don't have authorization or those kind of responsibility separation. Everybody should be responsible for everything on that part. So that's why we don't have, it's just one repository separated by different packages. But I think if we have, for example, 20 people working on the project, obviously it should be somehow separated, but that's not our case. We have a small team and it works well, at least in our example. But like I said, when the number increases, probably it will cause chaos. So, oh my God, it's like a tongue twister.
Yeah, definitely. I can see that.
I like cows.
Well, yeah, that's fine actually, as long as it works.
Yeah. I can see.
That's I think you kind of backed up a bit of what Viktoria was saying there in terms of and as you think about it, like the architecture depends on a lot of things, doesn't it? It depends on the problem, but also the team, the capabilities of the team, the size of the team, how long the project's going to last for. There's so many different things that weigh in on the architecture. It's certainly not a, you know, one style fits all. And even within the pattern, there's many variabilities that you can implement.
I actually don't know how CQRS can affect on your team. No, not your team. I think how big your team can affect to use CQRS pattern in
Right.
your project. Yeah, it
So
shouldn't.
What I was thinking is, if you're in a company where you've got 1,000 developers, microservices may be much more appropriate than if you've got a company with 2 developers. And well, it's like monolith makes sense because you more sense because you're getting less value from the separation of all of the different components into individual parts.
Yes, but it's necessary to be separate on write and read. It should be separate. It's all. It doesn't matter what separate actually. If you have 100 programmers, developers, you should separate. Doesn't matter how.
Got you. So that's a hard rule, non-negotiable. You're not doing CQRS.
Yeah, no, to be honest, I'm in that 2 developer situation, John, you said, and I had to change something that was working entirely on client side, and in less than a week, I had to deliver an API to replace all the functionality that was hidden underneath the client side to put that behind an API. And I actually opted into having quite similar to CQRS pattern. I think generally speaking, I didn't use the word command and query. I was following something else, but I quite like the idea because it's like that, you know, that concept of a modular monolith, you know, like the implementation individually, it's all following that self-handler pattern as you would show. And at least my thinking is like right now we're distributing it as one big API monolith, but then if I need to start splitting it out for any reason, unlike if I had a service type of class, you know, it's not like it's just bundled together. I need to discover how to split a module of code. It's like, well, here's a folder that says this is for the command, like the validation's in there, the data access logic is there, and then that just, yeah, all of that folder just gets put to another project, and hopefully that project turns into to whatever it needs to, like someone said Lambda earlier. Well, maybe it's the Lambda architecture there, but yeah, just you get to put it into AWS Lambda if you fancy it. So yeah, I like having that separation. The only one, yeah.
But it's a very big field for fighting programmers. What functions should be in this layer, in other layer, in one service, other service. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot of problem with it. Yeah.
We should opt in for spaghetti to solve all those discussions, right? Everything is in one place.
Yeah.
Then watch everybody just fight.
Yeah. You know, it was funny you said spaghetti because I think I was 4 years ago. I was on like Pluralsight learning about clean architecture, and this person had compared it, and he says, well, the N-tier thing is like really good, well-known, you know, good, perfect furniture, but clean architecture is like a lasagna. You've got lots of layers, and it's very compartmentalized, and you know, it's just like much cleaner. But then there's also people who just like spaghetti, you know. So
inside, yes, between
like
these layers.
Yeah, there was just everywhere spaghetti, yeah.
Yeah, it is actually.
Yeah, all this
I'm
food.
genuinely getting really quite hungry now.
Yeah.
This isn't good. It's not a good time of the day to be talking about food so much.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess if there aren't any more questions then, thanks very much for doing the talk. We'll send you a pointer to the video. It'll be up on the website soon. And yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks.
thank you, Victoria.
Thanks,
Thank
Victoria.
you.
Thanks, everyone. Have a nice evening.
Goodbye. Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Oliver.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye now.